Good morning. My name is Steve Zilora, and I am the chair of the Information Sciences and Technologies Department. And this department has a history of being very innovative with its degrees, with its degree programs, and we are continuing to evolve. And I wanted to take some time and talk about where we've been, some of the evolution that's happened, and where we're going. Because I've noticed as I walk around the career fair every year, I often see many employers who are advertising for computer science and software engineering students, but not necessarily for information technology or networking and sysadmin kids. And when I talk to them and tell them what our students are capable of doing and what their curriculum is like, the employers invariably say, oh my gosh, that's just what I need. So I want to talk to you about what it is that we do. So we're going to do a little bit of history here first. I'm going to take you way back to the beginning. In 1991, here at RIT, we developed the first ever bachelor's program in information technology. No one else had that. Quickly, many schools followed us. And a couple years later, a bunch of schools, ourselves, Brigham Young, Georgia Southern, got together out in Utah and came up with a model curriculum and said, this is what information technology should be. And it was based very much on this slide you see of there being 5 pillars to IT. The 5 pillars being programming, networking, human-computer interaction, databases, and web systems. And overarching all that was information assurance and security, and certainly professionalism. This is what drove the IT program. And we did this for several years, and we're very, very successful because of employers. Because many employers said, yes, this is what we need. Remember, this was in the heyday of the dot-com growth and just the surge in the use of information technology. So this carried us through most of the 90s, into the 2000s. But then the first split came. And what happened, this is in the early 2000s, around 2003, our networking and systems administration folks said, hey, you know what? There's a lot of cool stuff happening here that we just don't have the time to get to. You know, in this broad-based degree curriculum, I need to spend a few courses on this topic, a few courses on that topic. We want to do more than just a few courses. And so they broke off from the department, created their own degree in networking, security, and systems administration. And with that, they were able to have a lot more depth and specialization in the degree. And this was a good thing. At that same time, the IT faculty said, well, we're still going to cover networking and systems administration and security, but we looked around at each other and said, what is it that we know how to do best, though? And we were programmers and database people and web people, and we said, well, let's increase the emphasis in that area then. And so the IT degree began to morph away from that broad jack-of-all-trades type of program and into something more about application development and information delivery. So that went on for a few years. The networking and systems administration department said, hey, this splitting, that sounds kind of cool. We're going to do that too. And so they split themselves, still one department, but 2 degrees. And they created a degree in information and security forensics to really dig down deep on the issues of security, to get down into the cryptography level, the forensics level, as opposed to what was being done in the networking degree and the IT degree, which is more of an applied security. So that happened. And IT continued to say, well, hey, look, we're good at what we are. Let's keep going down that path. And around this time, web was going through its growing up stage, as I refer to it. You may have heard the buzzword Web 2.0. All right, this is when that became popular in the mid-2000s. And so suddenly developing a web application became something that was actually doable. You could develop a nice looking web application, not have it look like something from the 1970s. So we went down that path, more emphasis on the quality of the code, turning our students more into application developers. And that carried on for a few years. And then we had a little rearrangement of things. So one of the things, under the guidance of our dean, Andrew Sears, we wanted to say, let's put even more emphasis on this security degree. Security is hot stuff. So this is now around 2010 or 11-ish. And so what we did was to say, okay, we're going to take that security degree, put it in its own department to really highlight that. So we created a Department of Computing Security. The networking and sysadmin degree, let's put that back in the IST department with the IT folks where it came from and see what happens. And good things happened, okay? The NSA program, I'm going to skip this last bullet, the NSA program began to broaden a bit, be a little less focused. So we added some web courses, for example. We beefed up a little bit of the database that they always had taken, but doing a little bit more. The IT program, on the other hand, said, hey, you know, web was cool. Now it's about mobile. Let's start focusing on mobile development. And so we included that in our curriculum as a result. So that was the rearranging that we did, and that finished up about 2 years ago. Now, as some of you may know, we also recently switched from a quarter-based system to a semester-based system. And when we did that, you know, it seemed like such a good idea at the time, like many great plans. But when we did that, we said, hey, here's an opportunity to redo our curriculum. Another one of those things that sounded like a great idea at the time. What if we could start with a clean piece of paper? What would it look like for today? What do we need in this 21st century? And so, here's where we're going. The IT degree will have a much stronger focus on web and mobile computing. And by mobile, I don't mean just smartphones. We're talking about wearable computing here as well. We're talking about sensor-driven computing, knowing where you are and that affecting your user experience. All right? On the move computing is really what we should call it. Actually, one of the things we kicked around was the term ubiquitous, that this is really about ubiquitous computing. We just didn't think too many 17-year-olds would understand what ubiquitous meant, so we're going with web and mobile, because that they know. That they know. But these graduates are going to be very strong developers. Not only are they taking serious programming courses, they actually take some software engineering courses to learn how to properly develop robust software. They will be skilled in the full stack. This is a buzzword that's just starting to come out, and I like it very much. It refers to the architecture of a typical application, going from the database to getting data out of the database to manipulating that information according to business rules, to going through web services, out to the user. The whole thing is referred to as the full stack. That's where our students will be. The curriculum is designed that way. The curriculum is very much designed. There are courses on the data layer, courses on the service layer, courses on the presentation layer, and so forth. So they get fully exposed to that service-oriented architecture throughout the curriculum. We always have and will continue to support a wide variety of technologies. We are not about teaching them how to be an expert in one language or one technology. So as an example, right now I'm teaching the server programming course, and we'll be doing web services where they will produce these services with Java, with C#, with PHP. Okay. Now, there's 10 other languages that we're not covering, but once you've done 2 or 3, picking up the next one is pretty straightforward. So they're going to be used to that and working on all these different platforms. So that's where the IT degree is going. The networking and systems administration degree is moving more and more toward infrastructure. All right? So it's going to be about the deployment and the administration of that infrastructure. Whether we're talking about the networking itself, the backbone, or if we're talking about web, how do I manage a server farm that is out there for the purposes of serving up web pages and web applications, and database administration. So any type of enterprise technology that is necessary to deploy and support, that's what this degree is going to be. Infrastructure. In a sense, this is rolling back to what the classic IT was. In fact, when we were developing the curriculum, we actually nicknamed it internally IT Classic as a play off a Coke's campaign. So that's where we're going. We recognize this can be a little confusing, and it's hard to market, frankly, to say, oh, we have an IT degree and the focus is on web and mobile computing, and we have this NSA degree and the focus is on infrastructure. So we have applied to the New York State Education Department to change the names. And so the IT degree will become web and mobile computing, and the NSA degree will become computing and information technology. This has all been approved here at RIT. It has not been approved by New York State yet, so we can't start using those names on any literature just yet. The students you see today are graduating as IT or NSA students. And it's probably going to be the case next year as well. But we anticipate several kids wanting to change degrees. And so you'll start to see students with the web and mobile computing or computing information technology beginning next year. The curriculum will be in effect starting in the fall. But wait, there's more. We also have applied for a brand new degree in human-centered computing. Now, you may be familiar that we currently have a master's degree in this area, and it's been very successful. And so we wanted to be, again, one of the first schools to have an undergraduate degree in this field. It's all about the user experience and accessibility. This is what is going to distinguish our version of HCC from other schools. It's not just about the user experience for those of us who have all our physical abilities and mental abilities. It's going to be for those who are limited in some fashion, whether it be hard of hearing or deaf, which is a natural fit since we have NTID here, whether it be visually impaired, physically impaired, whatever the case. And this fits in again with our efforts with wearable computing and assistive technologies. What is really neat about this is it's a combined effort. The degree will be hosted in the IST department. All the technology courses, the programming courses, database, and so forth are taught by IST faculty. But we have partnered with the psychology department and our School of Design here at RIT. So students, as part of this degree, will take, I think it's 4 courses from the psychology department in the core. You know, there's concentrations they do even more. But in the core, they'll be taking 4 courses from the psychology department to understand how humans think, how they react, how they interpret things. They'll also take classes from the School of Design to learn, not from most of us who are computer scientists that sort of figured this stuff out, but people who are true designers and understand what it means to design. And that will help them also. So we're very excited about this. And I think this is going to be really great. So this too we have applied to New York State Education Department for approval. It's gone through all the RIT approvals. And if all goes well, then we'll start accepting students next year into the program. Okay, so those are things that are changing. Some stuff is staying the same, sort of. Nothing ever stays the same here. I'm often very jealous of my friends in the English department. Shakespeare hasn't written very much lately. However, a day doesn't go by that a student doesn't walk into my office or my classroom and say, "Professor, did you hear about such and such?" "No, I didn't hear about that one. I heard about 27 other new technologies, but not that one. Tell me about it." But our masters in information sciences and technologies, when we made the conversion to semesters, we made some modifications to put more emphasis on data analytics and scale. So big data, we're covering it. Now, one of the things that can be tough for folks to understand is what we've done here at RIT. We've taken the field of computing and split it up into all these areas. And I often get questions from folks as, well, what's the difference between what you're doing with big data and what computer science is doing with big data? And that's a great question. And the key difference, I think, is that computer science is about the science of computing. They're going to get into the algorithms of big data. How do I develop better pattern matching tools and so forth? We, on the other hand, in IST are about applications. We are the builders. We are the, how can I take these great tools that my friends in CS have developed? How can I use the methodologies and the practices that my friends in software engineering have developed? How can I put that all together and build something for their user? How can I solve their problem? How do I tell the students, how do I build the next Facebook, the next Amazon, E-Trade, whatever? So we're always about application. So what are the issues when I try to scale this stuff up? They're massive. Similarly, the Networking and Systems Administration master's degree is about scale and emerging technologies. A lot of work being done there with sensors. A lot of work being done there with bandwidth issues. As the traffic for the internet has just grown exponentially, how do we deal with that? One of our professors is chairing an IEEE working group for a new protocol based on her research that should reduce collisions and get us more throughput. And again, about scale. A lot of work here on virtualization, on software-defined networks, on virtual networks, certainly cloud, managing the cloud, not consuming it, but managing it. That's done here at the master's level. And our master's in human-computer interaction is all about the user experience. And this is with heavy emphasis on usability testing, on, again, researching how people interact with technology. So, to recap, big changes that are coming is the information technology program that we have today is going to continue to focus more and more on application development, on establishing a really rigorous skill set in the full stack, and we have applied for a new name, Web and Mobile Computing. The BS in Networking and Systems Administration focus is going to be on the deployment and administration of infrastructure, broad skill set, and a new name coming, Computing and Information Technology. All right, thanks a lot. Good luck at the career fair. I hope you find lots of good candidates. Thank you.